Hey guys, welcome. It feels so weird for me to just say welcome because I literally just finished recording the catfish story and I ended it and I didn't even look at it yet. I literally pressed end, sat here for like 10 seconds blinking into space and started pressing record again because I'm unprofessional and that's why I'm wearing the same clothes. But I had fun telling that story even though I was really bad at telling it. So I want to tell another one, and it's kind of like a couple short stories, but like the theme is the same. So it's like traumatizing, like events in my life that traumatized me, whether it's so stupid or not. So in second grade in our school cafeteria, we had like a traffic light, green, yellow, and red obviously, and it would judge our loudness. And if we were good, if we stayed on green during the lunch period, the last 15 minutes of lunch, we would be able to go to the front of the cafeteria and sing on karaoke. And like, I always love to sing. I'm really bad at singing, but I love to do it. And my friend, well at the time, my friend Michelle, she wanted to sing Fergalicious. And I had no like idea. I didn't know the lyrics to that song at all. Like I know like the tune, like but I don't know the words at all. And I was like, she wanted me to go up with her because she didn't want to do it by herself. I was like, no, like I don't know where she goes. It's okay, like I'll lead, just like lip sync to it, whatever. So I was like, okay. So we go up there and I thought it would be easy. I thought it would be so easy for me because I know the tune. I could just like basically like hear what she's saying and kind of just like go along with it, like lip sing a little bit. The parts that I do know I can just pitch in. Seems easy. So we start the song, and my second grade knowledge at that time in that moment realized that the song doesn't start with the chorus. So the only part that I do know, I thought I was gonna be able to start off strong because I'm starting with like Fergalicious, whatever, and then I'll tune out, but no. It started like with this whole thing. I'm just there like looking around, and like that was traumatizing for me because everybody was looking at me, and that was my first like performance. And I was literally like, and you could hear the microphone was so loud. Like, for some reason, the microphone I had was louder than the microphone she had. So I was just like, like, and she was like saying, like, she was like, has the attitude and the sass, and like, she's nailing every key. And like, I'm saying, that was really traumatizing for me. Probably because I was so young. Like, now I think it would be funny. But like, all second graders are very judgmental, and that was traumatizing for me. So that was the stupid one. Now on to the more serious ones. There's two. My car accident. So last year, we got to pick our classes for senior year, and because I like met up to like all the requirements or whatever, I only needed like 4 classes. So I just did my 4 classes. One of my teachers was so lenient, like was so chill. Like we would go in there and we'd watch viral videos on YouTube on the projector. Like there was never any, it was like a communications class, but we never, like that's what we did every single day because he was an athletics coach, so like he had other stuff to do. So we literally just watched videos. Like our quarterly, like our final or whatever, was what's your favorite football team and why, or like which football team do you think is gonna win this season, or something like that. It was like something like that. And so that's just the type of teacher he was, like for background. And it was to the point where like I would just go to his class, be like, hey, I'm here, all right, I'm gonna go. And like he wouldn't care, like you just mark your present, that's it. So, and it was like a period, 2 periods before, it was a period before my lunch. So I would just go out because the seniors are allowed to leave for lunch, and I would just have like an extra period of time to like just stay out. So one day that I did that, I like popped in and said, hey, I'm here, like I'm leaving. I left and I actually went home because I forgot to get the money. My mom gave me money to bring back to the school so I could give the guy to play Senior Assassin. That's what it was. So I went home. She was like, okay, like, we'll hurry back, whatever. She was under the assumption that it was my lunch period until I got to my house, and I told her it was, and she's like, okay, well, like, go back to school. I don't know why I told her that, but I did. So on my way back to school, I decided that I wanted Dunkin' Donuts. So I worked at Dunkin' Donuts at the time, so I was going to the one that I went to because, like, the coffee that I get isn't even, like, something that you get on the menu. Like, if I went anywhere else, they'd probably tell me no, except for the place that I work at because they know how I like it. I literally get a medium iced coffee, no ice, whole milk, like, literally up to the, like, say that the cup is this big, milk, like, up to here, and, like, just, like, this much iced coffee. I know it's disgusting. And 4 pumps of sugar-free blueberry, and then, like, a couple sweet and low. Like, that's not even a coffee. That's, like, flavored milk. But anyway, that's how I liked it. So I went to the Dunkin' to do that, and I was going this way, and then there was, you know, the other lane was obviously going this way, but there was a middle section where both sides of the lane can get into that section to, if they needed to make a turn. I needed to make a left turn, so I got into that section, and this lady, there was like a traffic light like a little bit further down that was yellow, and that's all I paid attention to. Like, okay, like, I'll be good, like, the last car came by, it's yellow, like, the next car isn't gonna go, it's been yellow for like a couple seconds. Well, I start to turn, and like the traffic light was like really fairly close, like it really was. So I start to go, and I notice that she crosses. I'm like, and all this happened, I'm surprised that like this much thought process, my thought process happened so much, because it was literally like in a split second, but all of this stuff was going through my head at the time. I remember her passing at me and being like, okay, well, it's okay because she just passed it, I'm gonna keep going, not aware of her speed. This lady was speeding like a lot, like she was probably almost going double the speed limit. I guess maybe because she just didn't want to wait for like the red, like she just wanted to speed past the yellow, whatever. But bottom line is I misjudged her speed, and I was turning, and as I was turning, I realized that her car, and she was like, there was 2 lanes in the traffic coming this way, she was in the farther lane. So as she was coming this way, like toward me, I was turning, and the front of my car hit the side front of her car. So it was like the front of her car, but like to the side. And I guess because of the way my car hit hers, my car spun out into traffic, and the whole front of my car fell off, and it was like really like destroyed, and my airbags didn't deploy. I don't know why. Like, I hit my head on the thing, but like everyone was fine. No one got hurt. But I'm a really messed up human being, because even though that these are stories of like things that have traumatized me, for some reason I don't get like emotionally affected the way I should. Like, anyone in that situation would be in shock. And for me, I mean, I was in shock. Like, when I spun out and like the car finally stopped, I was like just looking at the steering wheel. I was like, what the hell? And then like I looked out my window and I saw all my like my whole car was like falling apart basically. But I look over to her, and I could see her in her driver's side, and oh my god, I'm such a bad human being. Like, I can't even say this out loud. Like, I'm gonna get so much hate for this. She was looking at me, and okay, just to give you a description. Oh man, okay, I'm sorry. I'm terrible. Okay, this is why I can't YouTube. Okay. Just to give you a description of what she looked like. She looks like that meme of that old lady who was like, what? Like, you guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to pause the video and go look it up on Google really quick. Just type in what W-A-T meme, and it should be this old lady. She's like, or something like that's like what her face looks like. And maybe after seeing that, even if you do know what meme I'm talking about, go look it up and then come back here anyway, because maybe that'll lighten your mood a little bit so I don't seem as much of a horrible person when I tell you this. That's exactly what she looked like, and she was looking at me like with that face, like that, and I look at her, and then so she's just staring at me like outside, and I'm just staring at her, and after she's like paused like that for like 5 seconds, she starts like flipping out in her car, and she's like banging on her wheel, and like she's like going all crazy, and like I was in shock, so no noise was coming out. And I didn't really have an expression on my face either, but internally I was like chuckling. I was like laughing, and I feel so bad, especially because of this next part. I felt really bad. So while we were in the process of colliding, I knew it was too late to like swerve out of the way because we were practically like already touching, but I laid on my horn for whatever reason. For some reason, that was my instinct, which is really bad if my airbags were to come out, because I would have broken my wrist, but it didn't. So I laid on the horn. She didn't mind any attention. Come to find out that this lady that I just like traumatized, she was deaf, so she didn't hear me honk the horn, and she wasn't able to express herself verbally. Oh my god, I felt so bad because I called 911. I was in the middle of the intersection. I called 911, and they were telling me to like pull off to the side, but then I have all these people like coming up to my window telling me like to stay put, not to drive the car, and like I was like, oh my god, like all these people are telling me not to move, like the car's destroyed, I don't even know if I could push it out of the road. They're like, okay, just wait for that. And then a cop showed up, and he like escorted me out of the car to like bring me to the side safely. It's too late for that, but so I was like waiting there on the side, and I asked her if she's okay, and she's like frantically rambling, like, but like the words aren't forming. And that's when she told like the officer like she was deaf or whatever, and I felt so bad. Like that's when I started crying. Not that it makes a difference, obviously, because the crash happened, it was my fault, her being deaf didn't change that. I felt so bad, especially because she looked more frightened than I was in that moment. Like it sank in later, and like that's when I started like even to this day, like when I'm making a left turn and I'm like driving, like I'll second guess it, and I'll like literally wait for an extra period of time than I really have to. And like my friends will bug me about it all the time, be like, oh my god, Paige, you could have went. I'm like, all right, whatever. Or like when my mom's driving, she'll purposely turn to a point where she knows that it's fine, but like knows that I'll think it's too close, and like to get a reaction out of me. So mean. But so it did affect me. It just took a little bit longer to sink in. I felt really bad. She was like old. She didn't press charges, but that was like a really bad experience, and I felt so bad. And to top it off, like I wasn't even where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be in school. So that was like another thing like my mom could get on my case about. I just remember calling her and telling her that I got in an accident. Like, oh, I just feel so bad, because that's like my mom's worst fear, like getting calls like that. And oh, the whole process was just awful, because like I had to pay like fines and stuff like that, and they like the paperwork got messed up. Like they had on my form that I had a Chevy Malibu, but I had a Chevy Cruze. She was the one with the Chevy Malibu, so like that took like a couple weeks to even fix. My mom was getting like so frustrated. That was just like a really bad point. That was like a really rough 2 months. So that was like a little traumatizing. But this last story is shorter. It's just it's because it's like a memory. When I was younger, I almost got kidnapped. So basically, one day I was really bored, just like I am every day of my life now, which is why I'm making these videos. I asked my mom if I could go play with my neighbors Christopher and Jesse that I hung out with every day. She was like, yeah, sure. So I knock on the door, but they're busy, so they can't come out, like they weren't home or something like that. So instead of going back home, I went to a friend's house that was like 2 houses down, which is fine. She couldn't come out for whatever reason. So instead of going home, I decided that I was going to go to my other friend's house, who was actually like 3 blocks away. But because of like how the road was set up, my mom didn't allow me to walk there by myself because, you know, there's more traffic. It's, you know, it's less familiar from just like walking around the block. Like it just wasn't safe for like a 5-year-old to be wandering. So, oh yeah, I was 5 at the time. So I decided to walk there, and I rang her doorbell. She can't come out. So I start walking home, and it's a good like 10-minute walk, like, and I start walking home, and there's like this long dirt road, and it's like there's like woods on both sides of it. It's very like abandoned looking, and there's this huge bush, probably like, I want to say like 15 feet long and maybe like 7 feet high, but it was see-through. Like it wasn't a thick bush, it was like thinner, so like you could see what was on the other side easily. So it's like, here's the opening of the road on both sides. So here's an opening, and there's a giant bush in this center, but you can walk around either side of it. So I'm at this opening, and I see this like older man on this opening walking, and he's like making eye contact with me, and I immediately feel like unsettled. I just have really good intuition. I felt really unsettled. So he started walking around the bush, so I decided that I was gonna go on this side of the bush. And we're walking, and he's keeping eye contact, like maintaining eye contact with me through this bush the entire time, like to the point where he was on the equal with me on the opposite side of the bush, and he even turned his head to look at me when I was walking by. So I started walking, and now I'm almost at this entrance, and he would have been almost at this entrance, but he actually went on the other side of the bush to where I was and started walking back this way, and I got like really freaked out, and I started running. He was like walking at like a steady pace, and I was just like crying and bawling my eyes out, and like I swear I could have been like in a movie or something, because I tripped, and that's like something that you see in a movie, you're like, oh my god, like that dumb bitch just tripped, like that's so unnecessary, that's so cheesy. But I tripped, and because I was like I constantly kept turning around, and he just kept walking, and he never changed his pace, he never said anything, but he just got really close, and you can just tell, like, your intuition, like the way he was looking at me, it was just, and I'm like innocent, I've never had any experience this before, like it's not something that I've learned about in school, like I'm only 5 years old, so I have no idea, like this is like fresh, and just for me to like know that like that's kind of what was happening really freaked me out. So, but I got back up, and I started running back to my house, but my house was like really far on the end of the street, and I was scared for whatever reason that he would catch up. So I actually turned into my neighbor's house, and I went into their backyard and acted like that was my house. You know, because like how is he supposed to know if someone's home or not? Like he would just like, so I went on their trampoline, and I would bounce to look over the fence, and he was there for like a couple seconds, but then he finally walked away, like he moved away. So I went out the other fence that they had, and I remember just being so scared, like thinking that like he was gonna be at the end of the street or whatever, but he wasn't, thankfully. So I just ran home, and I ran inside crying to my mom, like I was like, Mom, I almost got kidnapped. And she like, I don't know if she didn't believe me, but like she didn't have like a worried reaction. She was more like, I told you that you weren't allowed to go over there, blah blah blah, blah. Like, lesson learned, mom. But I feel like when I told her, she just thought that that's what I thought because I was so young. Maybe I was over exaggerating and something like that. But no, like to this day, my mind is not changed. Like, I remember like a video playing in my head. That man's intentions were not good. So that was very traumatizing for me. That was really scary. It makes me like paranoid sometimes. Like if I'm walking, like when it's dark out and I'm by myself, like I get paranoid when like cars pass me, or like I see like people walking down the street. So yeah, those are like my 3 traumatizing experiences in order of intensity. But yeah, so I mean, I'm sure I have plenty. Like my whole life is basically trauma anyway. So if I think of any more, I will definitely share. But that's all I have for now. So I'm probably gonna go. Maybe I'll record another video, probably not. I need to like rest, my like throat hurts. I'm probably gonna get food. I like food. So yep, just add me on social media and comment English, please. Okay, thanks. Comment any ideas of stuff. Like, this video is already 23 minutes long, so I'm probably just gonna cut it. And I will see you guys later. Goodbye.